Good morning, children. This is Aruna Rajaputra with today's social studies topic, globe, model of the earth. In this lesson, you will learn about the globe, a true model of the earth. You will understand about the latitudes, longitudes, poles, and the equator, and the motions of the earth and how day and night and seasons occur, children. Like globe, which is the model of the earth, you will learn about the latitudes, longitudes, northern hemisphere, southern hemisphere, western hemisphere, eastern hemisphere. You will learn about the continents and oceans, children. And here parallels you can see, meridians you can see. Parallels and meridians form a grid. Here you can see grid is a network of parallels and meridians. Grid help us to locate the places. The earth has two movements, children. One is rotation, another one is revolution. What is rotation? The movement of the earth on its axis from west to east is called rotation. What is axis means? Axis is an imaginary line joining the North Pole and South Pole. Here you can see rotation of the earth causes day and night. Day, night. And the next movement of the earth is revolution. This picture shows us the revolution. The movement of the earth around the sun once every 365 1/4 days is called revolution. Revolution of the earth causes seasons, children. Here you can see summer season, winter season, autumn, spring, also causes solstices, eclipses, equinoxes. Coming to the shape of the earth, children. Portuguese sailor Magellan, he travelled from Spain towards the western direction, and again when he reached the Philippines he expired, but his followers reached the same place. This proves that the shape of the earth is round, that is like the ball. It appears to be flat as we see only a small part of its surface at a time, children. And the pictures taken from the space also prove that the shape of the earth is round in shape, that is ball-like. Earth's photograph taken from the space. Here spheroid shape showing, children. The shape of the earth is like an orange. It bulges outwards from the center, but it is slightly flat on the top and the bottom, children. Here you can see, we can observe the same ocean both the sides of the map. It is the Pacific Ocean. When we fold the map like this, the two parts come together to one place. Thus we can say that the earth is round in shape, children. Here globe, the model of the earth. Axis of rotation you can see. Here this is an axis. Axis is an imaginary line joining the North Pole and the South Pole, children. Here the imaginary line running horizontally. Here you can see on the middle of the globe divides the earth into two equal halves. This line is known as the equator. The half that lies north of the equator is known as northern hemisphere, and the half that lies to the south of the equator is known as southern hemisphere. This picture shows us Earth's hemispheres, children. Coming to the latitudes, children. Lines drawn parallel to the equator. Here you can see this is equator. These are the lines drawn parallel to the equator. Here you can see the latitudes, lines of latitude, parallels, they are also called. So lines drawn parallel to the equator are called latitudes or parallels. They are full circles, children, except the poles. They are 180 in number. North Pole, Arctic Circle and Tropic of Cancer are the important latitudes in the northern hemisphere. South Pole, Antarctic Circle and Tropic of Capricorn are the important latitudes in the southern hemisphere. Latitudes help us to study the climatic zones of the earth, children. Coming to the longitudes. Imaginary lines which connect the North Pole and the South Pole are called longitudes or meridians. You can see here meridians or longitudes. They are semicircles and they are 360 in number. 0 degree longitude is the prime meridian or Greenwich meridian, children. Opposite of this is 180 degree east or west, which is called the international dateline. International dateline is very important because time zone starts from here 0 to 12 zones here when it reaches the Greenwich, and after that till 24 in the eastern hemisphere. Total 24 time zones are marked starting from the international dateline. So Greenwich meridian divides the earth into eastern hemisphere and western hemisphere. Coming to the movements of the earth. The spinning movement of the earth on its axis is called the rotation. The earth spins from west to east on its axis, this picture shows. And this picture shows rotation of the earth causes day and night. During rotation, the part of the earth facing the sun and receives sunlight has the day, while the other part is in the darkness and has night. Coming to the revolution. The earth, while moving on its own axis, also moves around the sun. This movement around the sun is called revolution. It takes 365 1/4 days. The year has 365 days. The remaining 1/4 day is added once in 4 years, and that year is known as a leap year, and February has 29 days in the leap year. This I will explain with the help of this figure, children. Here you see. This picture shows the revolution of earth causes seasons. In this figure, in A position, on 21st June, the sun's rays fall directly on the Tropic of Cancer, and these areas receive more heat. As the earth is tilted, the sun's rays are slanting near the poles. So, areas near the poles receive less heat, and the places beyond the Arctic Circle experiences the continuous daylight for about 6 months. Since large part of the northern hemisphere receives light from the sun, it is summer in the northern hemisphere. The longest day and the shortest night at these places occur on 21st June. In southern hemisphere, the conditions are reversed. It is winter and nights are longer than days. This position of the earth is called summer solstice. In C position, that is 22nd December, the Tropic of Capricorn receives the direct rays of the sun as the south pole tilted towards the sun. The sun's rays fall vertically at the Tropic of Capricorn, and the large portion of southern hemisphere gets light. So it is summer in the southern hemisphere with longer days and shorter nights. The reverse happens in the northern hemisphere. This position of the earth is called winter solstice. Coming to the D and B positions. On 21st March and 23rd September, the rays of the sun fall directly on the equator, and the whole earth experiences equal days and nights. This is called equinox. On 23rd September, it is autumn in the northern hemisphere and spring in the southern hemisphere. It is opposite on 21st March. When it is spring in the northern hemisphere, it is autumn in the southern hemisphere. Hope you all understood the topic. Next, solar eclipse. When the moon and earth revolve around the sun, moon and earth revolve around the sun, sometimes the moon comes between the sun and the earth in a straight line or a same plane. The moon, being an opaque body, blocks the light of the sun and casts its shadow on the earth. Thus, people living in that region cannot see the sun for some time. This is called solar eclipse. When the sun is completely hidden by the moon, it causes total solar eclipse. When the sun is only partly hidden by the moon, it is called a partial eclipse. Next, lunar eclipse. Earth revolves around the sun and the moon revolves around the earth. As they revolve around each other, at times earth comes between the sun and the moon in a straight line or a same plane. Earth, being an opaque body, blocks the light of the sun and casts its shadow on the moon. Hence, the people living in that region cannot see the light of the moon. When the moon is completely hidden due to the dark shadow of the earth, like this, it is called the lunar eclipse. It is called the total lunar eclipse. When a small part of the moon's surface is hidden, it is called the partial eclipse. Hope you all understood all the topics of the lesson, children. And the task for this video is draw the figure revolution of the earth causes seasons and try to explain in your own words. Thank you all, children. Have a nice day.